In this strategy, exactly copy the movements of the whales and follow their footsteps because it is much more likely and the level is very reliable. Types of liquidity. There are different types of liquidity, and their identification methods can be different based on each trading style. One of the most desirable situations is to classify the types of liquidity into the following 3 items: range liquidity, levels trend line, liquidity, liquidity in equal highs and lows, range liquidity levels. This type of liquidity is also called static liquidity. When the price in a range begins to create ceilings and floors, most traders start trading and place losses above or below these ceilings and floors, and this creation of liquidity causes the market to cross that area. Further, due to the rapid movement of the market towards the loss limit orders, other people think that the range is broken and enter the trade in the direction of the break, which is actually the second group whose stop is activated. The picture below is an example of this type of liquidity. Thank you for liking the video. Let's go to the most important strategy from which you can learn a lot. Liquidity at equal highs and lows. Equal highs and lows. This type of liquidity actually refers to a clear support or resistance level behind which traders place their stop losses and anticipate that the price will move from it, come back. But in most cases, the price breaks this level and traders exit the trade at a loss, which is actually a cash draw. How to identify liquidity areas and trade with them. Based on the types of liquidity mentioned in the previous section, start studying and checking the price charts. With enough practice, you will be able to identify important areas of liquidity. The important points in using liquidity are: areas that have acted as block orders in the past will sometimes act as liquidity areas in the future, and price tends to move towards them. Liquidity in each time frame is unique to that time frame, and it should not be used for other periods. Liquidities visible in larger time frames are more important than others. In order to reach the block order, the price should not sharply cross the liquidity levels. To trade with liquidity areas and use them effectively, after identifying the trend and important block orders in the direction of the trend, try to use those liquidity areas that are on the way to the price, reaching the block order so that the price. By encountering the block order, it has attracted a liquidity at the same time. Liquidity at the ceiling or floor equal highs and lows. This type of liquidity actually refers to a clear support or resistance level behind which traders place their stop losses and anticipate the price to bounce back from. But in most cases, the price breaks this level and traders exit the trade at a loss, which is actually a cash draw. How to identify liquidity areas and trade with them. Based on the types of liquidity mentioned in the previous section, start studying and checking the price charts. With enough practice, you will be able to identify important areas of liquidity. The important points in using liquidity are: areas that have acted as block orders in the past will sometimes act as liquidity areas in the future, and price tends to move towards them. Liquidity in each time frame is unique to that time frame, and it should not be used for other periods. Liquidities visible in larger time frames are more important than others. In order to reach the block order, the price should not sharply cross the liquidity levels. To trade with liquidity areas and use them effectively, after identifying the trend and important block orders in the direction of the trend, try to use those liquidity areas that are on the way to the price reaching the block order so that the price. By encountering the block order, it has attracted a liquidity at the same time. Price return to liquidity pool. When the big banks use a stop hunter move to hunt the minimum losses of small traders, there is a possibility that all the orders of the banks are not loaded in the market. Therefore, to complete their orders, banks return the price to the range of the liquidity pool to load the unexecuted orders in the market. This is why you see patterns like head and shoulders, QM, and pullback to fake out levels in the market. Therefore, when the price returns to near the fake out level, or the liquidity pool, it can potentially be a good place to trade. Of course, you should pay attention to the fact that it is better to get the necessary confirmations and signals before doing any trade and then enter into the transaction. But this strategy, which is an indicator, shows the areas that are very scary for us, which are the whale areas. And the blue lines in the chart are the areas where the whales place a lot of orders, and whenever the price reaches those numbers, accumulates liquidity. By using this strategy, say goodbye to your losses and do not trade where it is in the video. Thank you for watching the video so far. I hope you can make the most of it. Watch the video related to the strategy.